This is a 405 grain 4570, and yes, it would put Clint Eastwood's 44 Magnum to shame. This is a Bond Arms Cyclops, one shot 4570. Let's light this puppy up. Wait, maybe we should talk a little more. And I talked a lot more about Bond derringers in 2018. I'm Michael Bain, and once again, welcome to our weekly downrange video coming to you from the Dragon House Studios, right here on the secret hidden bunker in the Rocky Mountains. It's summer, and we got like fun things in the summer to do, so I was thinking a little bit about kind of fun guns. And you know, there's some guns that you agonize over. Your carry gun, you probably read a million articles, you went through the internet, you agonize, should I get this, should I get that, should I get a Glock, get a Ruger, get a Springfield, whatever. Your hunting rifle, I don't know, a Remington, push feed, a Ruger, control feed, what should I do? But there's some guns that you buy simply because they're there. Much like the reason Edmund Hillary climbed Mount Everest. It was there. Enter the Bond Derringer. I irrationally love Bond Derringers. I've followed them since the very beginning of the company. When they were starting to put this together, they were like, oh, okay, we're going to build the ultimate Remington pattern Derringer. And if you're familiar, if you saw the Gun Stories with Joe Montaigne episode on it, the Remington pattern derringer, which was like this, a double barrel derringer, began production somewhere right after the Civil War, 1865, and continued on through the mid-30s. It was really popular. It was only ever made in .41 rimfire. And the idea was, it was a backup gun. It was a gambler's gun. Probably none of you who are alive today remember the television series Yancey Derringer. They sing of Yancey Derringer on every danger trail, in riverboats, manor house, and now and then in jail. Anyway, he carried a bunch of derringers, shot a lot of people with them. So Bond Arms decided they wanted to bring back the Remington pattern derringer, which is kind of, well, okay. When I first started talking about it, when they were just starting up the company, one of the things that I was always thinking about was, well, why? And of course there's the reason that you can that I said earlier, but essentially they wanted to build the ultimate Remington pattern derringer. Remington pattern derringers were always flimsy little beasts because of this, because their hinging system, their locking system, sooner or later, and usually if you shot a lot of rounds through a Remington pattern derringer, sooner or later the locking mechanism would loosen, and what would happen is it would become a single barrel as opposed to a double barrel derringer. It would only fire one round. And so I think this gun began as an intellectual exercise of how to avoid that. And the way the Bonds succeeded in avoiding it was this system here. Now look at this big beefy hinge up here. That is not going to move. Stainless steel, CNC machined. It is a massive hinge for a gun this size. And you come over here, here's the locking mechanism. The locking mechanism on the Remington pattern derringers was always flimsy as all get out. Because, I mean, they were last-ditch guns. They never expected you to run a box of ammunition through it. They just expected you to take a shot at Doc Holliday and then run like all get out. Locking system here, extremely robust. You know, once again, something that is very, very tough. And so they engineered this beast. And in talking to Gordon Bond, of course, Bond Arms, he said, we just wanted to build a perfect derringer. And in fact, they did exactly that. They built a perfect derringer. And here's what's neat about it to me. You see all these things here? Barrels. Once you have this gun, the frame, you can put as many different barrels as you want on it, which I find great fun because I always end up having a lot of weird rounds lying around. But you know, you can choose. if you say, I bought this gun, which is, by the way, this is what put them on the map. This is Snake Slayer, and it is a 45 Colt. I did not say long Colt? No, I didn't say that. 45 Colt and 410 shotgun shell. Yes, it recoils. This is also a 45 Colt, 410 barrel, a little bit shorter. Does it recoil even more? Ha, you betcha. But it put them on the map because it was something different. They said, would you like to shoot a shotgun shell out of a derringer? And people like me said, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. So they made them. They made them in lots of different flavors. What I have here, I have the shorter barrel, the original shorter barrel, the longer Snake Slayer barrel. By the way, that works on snakes, little things. It actually does what it says. I have a 357 barrel. I have a 44 Special 44 Russian barrel. And I have a couple of rimfire barrels, 22 long rifle, 22 Magnum. So whatever you're kind of in the mood to shoot, you can shoot. This week's Triggered is brought to you by Arms Corps, Rock Island Armory. What's your passion? Taurus, USA. Always ready, always bring it. Stoger, everyday tough. SDS Imports, Thesis. Thesis means quality. Hunters HD Gold. They change so you don't have to. And MTM Case Guard. Quality shooting sports accessories. I will tell you actually a funny story here. We're out in California filming for Gun Stories with Joe Mantegna, and Joe has just been an amazing person with all these different guns we've thrown at him. We've thrown 454 Casals, we've thrown 500 line bars, various and sundry 50 BMG guns, Desert Eagles in multiple flavors. Joe just rolled right through them. And so we're out in California, and because California is a horrific place, we actually couldn't bring this gun. This gun is prescribed in California because it shoots a shotgun shell. And they say, well, no, then it's what this is in California is a double barrel, short barrel shotgun, which even a moron can figure out it's not that. It's rifled. It's shallow rifling, thin rifling, you know, but it's rifled. It's not a shotgun. But California said, niet. So we sent it to ISS, Independent Studio Services, because movies can do anything in California. If a movie decides they want to draw and quarter somebody on the courthouse in downtown LA, basically California government will give them a pass and say, well, you know, it's okay. Aztec sacrifice, not a big deal, as long as it's in the movies. So we shipped, we had Bound Arms ship a couple of Derringers out to ISS because they needed them in stock anyway. And then we were able to get barrels. In fact, they had to ship the 45 410 barrel to them under their movie exemption. I bought some of the other barrels that were not sawed-off shotguns. And so, you know, we put the 22s on, we shot it, and Joe goes, hey, you know, I'm not sure I want to shoot the 45 410. No sane person does, but he goes, let's give the 357 a shot. And I said, sure. And so he's like, hey, you got some 357 rounds? I think we had a 125 grain jacket at Hollow Point 357s. And I said, yeah, we got some. He goes, let's light it up. So we put that barrel on. I'll show you how to do that in just a second. We put that barrel on and then gave it to Joe, and he fired a shot, and he stopped for a minute, and he looked over at us and says, that really hurt. He goes, holy cow. He goes, that's a snap. You know, of course, he shot the other barrel, and he goes, all right, you know, you guys get that on camera? Yeah, okay, good. You can never beat the laws of physics. Never beat the laws of physics. And in general, I mean, the weight of these guns, this is an interesting thing. In building the ultimate Derringer, you got a gun that weighs about the same or a little bit more than a Glock 19. So you say, well, this is an ideal carry gun. Well, it weighs the same as a Glock 19. Any number of other, the 380s, good grief, you could get 3 380s on your person for this gun. But it is an enormously fun gun to shoot. I really enjoy it, and it asked me right out, have I ever carried this as my primary self-defense gun? Yes, I have. not necessarily high threat situations, but I've carried it. One of the things I like about them is that they have a wonderful sideways road holster. Wraps around your belt and carries essentially 90 degrees on your belt right here. And if you're sitting in a car, it's the perfect place to carry a gun because you're carrying it right here. And if you've got this with 44 specials, if you've got it with 357s or even 38s, you can shoot through a car door with it. You cock it, pull the trigger, and it will shoot through the car door into whatever is on the other side of the car door. You don't have to go through a conniption here. Where's my gun? Where's my gun? Oops, where's my gun? It makes it a good little car gun. Sometimes just hiking the property, I've carried them because I don't expect to meet a contingent of Taliban fighters here at the secret hidden bunker. If they're here, they're very well hidden. So, do I carry a derringer sometime for fun? Absolutely. Let me show you how to change the barrel on this. It's really complicated, so you probably going to take notes. Doomp, you do this. Release the barrel. Da-dump, dump. Take the provided wrench and unscrew the screw. It can only go on one side, by the way, because Gordon Bond figured some idiot like me would be going like, can I get it in this side? Can I get it in that side? He's like, no. Let's just make it where it's relatively Michael Bain idiot proof. So you unscrew, till you get it clear, pull it clear. This guy comes out, and you say, hey, let's put this guy in. So, right back there, right back like that. There's a certain jiggle factor in getting it set into the gun. And then what we do, look at this, we screw it tight. It's kind of like a miracle. It's even easier to take apart than a Glock. So, you can have then, like this case, we've now gone to the 38 357 Magnum barrel on this puppy. A couple other features I just want to show on you. They've been working on the trigger pull. This is an old model, and it still has a little sketchy trigger pull. Whenever I run into Gordon Bond at the NRA show, SHOT Show, he's always saying, send it back, send it back. We got a better trigger, we'll put the better trigger in it. Still, it's not a bad trigger. Unlike the Remington pattern derringer, it also has a safety, a push button safety. When you engage said safety, this is the safety engaged, this is fire, engaged, fire. When you engage the safety, basically the hammer cannot connect with the firing pin, which actually works perfectly. So the other neat thing about these little guys is whatever accessories you want, Bond has them. One of the things that Gordon Bond realized really early on was that not every holster maker was going to go wild and say, we're going to build you custom holsters for this gun. Instead, they're going to go, what on earth do you need it for? So Bond had the holsters made. And if you go to the website, go to Bond Arms, and you will see the driving holster that I talked about. You'll see side holsters. You'll see inside the waistband holsters. You'll also see inside pants holsters. Whichever way you want to go, however way you want to do it, Bond has holsters for you there. They also have a selection of different grips. They have names for them that all have to do with Texas, which is why I forget all of them. This is the little longer extended grip, and I will tell you absolutely truthfully, if you're going to shoot a 357, you're going to shoot a 45-410, being able there to put Mr. Pinky right there on the bottom does give you a pretty good level of control. The other thing that's surprising about these guns, especially in 410, is they're reasonably accurate. And when I say reasonably accurate, you are not going to win a bullseye championship with a Bond Arms Derringer. But on the other hand, if it's a 7-foot fight across the room, I can guarantee you that you most assuredly are going to win that. So go to Bond Arms. I mean, I like them. I like Gordon Bond. I like the company. I like little companies that can and that do. There's also lots of different flavors. They have interesting colors, flatter ones, brighter ones. One of the things Gordon Bond showed me at the NRA show was, it's not on the site yet, it's not announced yet, but what if you cut this thing in half and had it so much slimmer with 2 shots? Gordon's working on that. Gordon also perfected the Boberg. The Boberg is a semi-automatic 9mm. It's really a very strange little beast. It's tiny, 380 size, but it's got a little bit longer barrel because of the weird feed mechanism in it. The first time I saw it, they said, the Boberg creator said, it works perfect as long as you're willing to use some sort of like synthetic axle grease on it. Well, what could be better for a concealed carry gun that you have to cover it in axle grease? Gordon essentially took 2 years, 3 years and debugged that gun. That's available now. We'll have one coming in a little bit later. But I think everybody needs a derringer. And everybody needs to look up those old Yancey derringers just so you can hear that cool song. Brocade and silver buckles and iron in his fist. I'm Michael Bain. We'll see you next week. Okay, enough frivolity. Let's get this done.